What's going on, everyone? My name is Nicholas Merton here at Data Dash, and today is October 22nd of 2020. Well, folks, I hope you are having a fantastic day wherever you are. And in today's video, we have some extremely exciting news. As I'm checking the ticker price right now, not only is Bitcoin over $13,000, but it's due in response to the recent news that PayPal has announced it's going to allow its over 300 million users to gain access to purchasing Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and Bitcoin Cash. This is really incredible news in the sense of crypto as a digital asset, but I want to take the time to talk today about what this announcement is and what it isn't. There are a lot of misconceptions as to what PayPal is offering here and how quick it's going to be rolled out. So we're going to be talking about that, and we also have a few other announcements as well as a sponsored interview towards the end of the video with Bitpanda, so stay tuned. You won't want to miss any of it. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and dive straight into just taking a look across the board of the market. We can see Bitcoin is not only up 6.34%, as well as Ethereum up 7.7%, but the vast majority of digital assets are up in the green here right now due to the response to the news. And bear in mind, I just want to go ahead and make a point here that this is not only bullish for Bitcoin as well as the other currencies that PayPal is going to be offering exposure to. But along with that, this is generally going to be a reason for cryptocurrencies to be have a higher valuation, as there's going to be more inflows to the market than there were before, as more people are going to have a buying opportunity than ever before. And this is going to, of course, bring a higher price to Bitcoin, and with a higher price of Bitcoin, more liquidity to the broader crypto space, allowing for altcoins to receive some of the benefit as well. So let's just go ahead and talk about this, guys. PayPal, Venmo to allow Bitcoin buying and selling on their platforms. This is the kind of general headline here. But the important thing to note here is that there's a few other pieces to the puzzle here. And I've really decided from looking across the board that the Reuters source article is probably the best to go off of here, as we have actual quotations from PayPal. We have the actual press release here that actually discusses what's happening here with PayPal. And it's really summarized through a few key paragraphs here. So let's go ahead and talk about what PayPal has confirmed they're going to be offering. They are going to offer the ability for U.S. account holders to buy, sell, and hold cryptocurrencies in their PayPal wallets over the coming weeks. And they also plan to expand this feature and functionality to Venmo. Obviously, as many of you might know, it's a very common peer-to-peer, not so much peer-to-peer, I guess, but basically a cash sending app, a digital cash app where you can relay money from your bank account to another friend's bank account, generally speaking. And this is going to be available in the first half of 2021. So this is all relatively close. I mean, really, I know it's could be a couple months away before it gets into Venmo. But putting that aside, I mean, this is in the short term going to be one of the most major steps for digital asset exposure to the space. And I actually tweeted out on my Twitter about how it's time for PayPal to step up after Square had not only acquired $50 million in Bitcoin, but also through the Cash App had allowed for Bitcoin purchases for some time. And I got to say, the more competition, the better. I love more exposure to cryptocurrencies as an asset. This is really good news. As we'd seen, again, other major companies like Square and Robinhood offer on-ramps into crypto. Now, again, taking into the size and scale here, the really positive side of this news is that PayPal services over 346 million active accounts across the globe, many of which are in the United States, and they processed over $222 billion in the second quarter of 2020. So these are very important metrics to keep in mind. I mean, this is beyond anything we've seen in the world of players like Coinbase and players like Binance. I mean, this is a massive, basically platform for people to do and process payments. And along with this as well, I think that what's important to note here is also what the announcement isn't, right? So this is going to be really good to be able to maybe drive up Bitcoin's price, grow it as an asset, have more people involved and aware of digital assets and getting some exposure, and also is going to maybe add some more functionality to PayPal as a platform. But along with this as well, it's important to note that as you are going to be able to pay with your Bitcoin, so I'll be able to maybe, for example, pay a merchant who accepts PayPal or buy something through an e-commerce website with Bitcoin, it's important to note that they are not going to be receiving Bitcoin on the other end. Just like major companies like BitPay, there is going to be a liquidation event where if I'm paying with Bitcoin, let's say I buy $100 or $200 worth of stuff with Bitcoin, that is going to cause a sell side event. They are going to liquidate that Bitcoin, and it is going to be converted into fiat currencies, which will actually be transmitted just like normal dollars on traditional payment rails. So this is the thing that I want to kind of point out to people. This isn't a good thing for Bitcoin's price or Bitcoin as an asset when you use ramps like PayPal to pay with Bitcoin or pay with Litecoin or Ethereum, whatever you want to pay with. or even Bitcoin Cash, right, which is meant to be used as cash. In this case, you're really not actually helping the underlying asset. This has been the case for BitPay and many other providers out there. So I just want to kind of make that clear if you decide to ever use PayPal or you want to understand really what is going on there. But outside of that, there's a lot of great news in this case, in the sense for price, about people being able to purchase it. So this really is kind of more of a one-sided event. This is a very positive upswing event for Bitcoin. And we can see here, as the price has dropped a little bit, sadly, it was at 13K just a couple moments ago. As you can see here, price has been responding very solidly. Now, we've not only had a great week here, up 12.75% at the current moment, but if we dive into the daily chart here, we can see that this is a continuation off of yesterday when the news broke. We can see here, taking a look at the hourly chart, the price just continued to soar. Volume has been great. We've been setting in higher significant highs and higher significant lows. The momentum is here. And again, as we talked about, the major thing we were watching for was to get above this level here, this previous relative high here, and it looks like we got it. The ascending triangle here between the line of resistance that have been roughly held here on a weekly sense all the way back, again, since back here in January of 2018, it looks very clearly like we are going to have our first weekly close at this price range, around $13,000, since all the way back here in January of 2018. Now, why is this so significant, guys? I mean, many of you can probably guess right off the bat, being able to get past a historical resistance for more than the last 2.5 years is absolutely incredible, almost coming up on 3 years. When we get to January of 2021, that's going to be a 3-year period, right? So more than 2.5 years here where we haven't been able to get above this price range and hold it. And this is very, very significant. It is the highest relative high since, again, back here in 2017, right, when we're talking about relative highs on the price. And if you just take off all the drawings here, right, we already have our general kind of line here, our conservative estimate that it could take towards back here in Q1 or the late Q1 of 2021 to get back to 20K. Just go ahead and turn off the drawings here and look at the chart here, guys. And we can even take it to the logarithmic chart here. This is looking absolutely fantastic. We're right on pace for where we should be for this cycle. And it looks very clear here. Right? Again, just keeping in mind here to go to the standard chart to make it a bit more clear. When we were at this price range last and we had a weekly close, we made it to 20K in just a couple of weeks. Now, of course, we don't have that kind of momentum. We're not at the peak of a crypto cycle. We're in the emergence of a new cycle. So again, I don't expect things to happen that quick, but there isn't any point of resistance here on the chart. Once we clear through this, once we clear through 12K and have a weekly close up here at 13K, sky's the limit, folks. And that's when we're kicking off the next cycle. So this is a very, very exciting time for cryptocurrencies. And it's not just showing in Bitcoin, it's showing in other cryptocurrencies. Ethereum recovering a lot of the downward turn that it had yesterday after Bitcoin gained a lot of market dominance. And we want to take a look, if we want to take a look at the USD chart, for example, I'll go ahead and just pull it up here. I can't find it on my sidebar. We can see here, taking a look at Binance, that we've cussed back up in price. We've had higher relative lows, higher relative highs. We're now back above $400 for Ethereum, just a few, dozen dollars away from the relative peak we set back here in August and September. It's really actually it's September 1st here in this case for Ethereum. We can take a look as well as Litecoin, right? Litecoin, again, benefiting from the news as well, but starting to recover a lot of days of downward price movement against Bitcoin, soaring up here to 425,000 Satoshis. We can take a look at Litecoin, USDT here on Binance. Again, soaring back up here from $46 all the way up to $55, recovering a lot of the losses back here from September. We are getting out of this correction, and it's coming quick, guys. This is why I've constantly hit on this point about not trying to trade the ins and outs of this market. We want to trade the broader cycles here, as news like this can come out of nowhere, and it can really shift the narrative. Just about a week or two ago, no one was really getting excited about crypto markets, but now everything is really hitting home. We're really excited to see where things are going, and I can't wait to see what happens here over the next few weeks and months as we go back towards 20K. And eventually break out above those highs and start charting towards new highs for Bitcoin, historical highs. And again, the days of profitability, if you were looking at the data science model on looking to Bitcoin, the days of profitability for Bitcoin are probably up around like 98 point something percent or 99% now at this point. So again, Bitcoin working as a store of value, doing a pretty good job. Anyways, I digress here, guys. I want to go ahead and talk about a few other things here as we go throughout the video. One thing I wanted to start doing here on the channel, I'm planning to at least do this once a week, or maybe even, on every other video or every video. I don't know. I got inspired by my good friend Tio from Arcane Bear to just start giving away money on Kiva. And what's really great is there's this new team feature that's been around on Kiva, and if many don't know, it's a microfinancing platform. They're not sponsoring the video by any regards. I've just loved the platform for a long time. Tio's also a big fan, and we banter back and forth about Kiva as a platform. But long story short, I want to start doing some donations here on the channel where we actually go and support different people across the globe. And these are individuals who are basically getting microfinancing, usually coming from backgrounds where they can't get access to standard credit from banks, or the loans in these regions are coming in at predatory rates. So Kiva actually lends out capital at no interest to people across the globe. And you actually get to choose the people you want to lend to. And I basically have a long list here of people where I'm going to be donating $25 to a wide variety of different people. So I'm going to go ahead here and actually process the loan to Kiva, lending out $500. And I also opt in to pay the full Kiva fee to cover the fees for transactions, help the team as well to make these payments happen. I'm going to go ahead and click checkout. And in just a couple seconds here, it should go ahead and process the loan. Awesome. There we go. So we just lent out to 19 different borrowers across the world at 0% interest. And what's really cool is you can kind of talk about why you pick the individual cases. I like to support a variety of different causes. I'm very passionate about, like agricultural development in a lot of countries, along with that as well, like women-owned businesses, all types of different things. And the great thing about Kiva is you choose to lend out, you can choose different geographical regions, you can choose different types of topics or categories. And I really just love this about Kiva. It's something that's open and fun for everyone to join in on. But the really great thing about overall is that we have this ability to create teams. And we actually just created a Digifox team here on Kiva. So if you want, you can join over towards our new Discord in this case and become a member not only of our Discord, where you can socialize with a lot of different people who have joined as a recent, but along with that, you can join our Kiva channel where you can actually register an account and join on the team. And I want you guys to join me in this effort. We want to help a lot of people across the globe and whatever they're doing, whatever businesses they're trying to create. And the great thing is, in many cases, you get your principal back, right? When you're lending out to these people, you'll get your principal back, and you can keep spreading the love. You can keep giving money to people. So I'm planning every week to hopefully contribute about like $500 more. So we're going to be stacking up more and more, lending out more and more to people across the globe. And I hope you guys will join me in this effort. I think it's a really great platform. And thanks to Tio from Arcane Bear for giving me a really nice idea just to contribute. And I hope that Tio and many other content creators will all come together and will be able to help support the community. I just kind of fell in love with the idea when we talked about it. So anyways, and last but not least, I want to go ahead and give a real quick shout out to a podcast I recently went on known as Crypto News Weekly, hosted by two of my good friends, Walter as well as Christo. And we talked about a lot of really interesting things. We talked about the $50 million Square purchase of Bitcoin. We talked about the issues with OKX and a variety of other topics trending within the cryptocurrency space, as well as some general kind of thoughts on the market as it's evolving over time. So I really recommend you guys go check that out. I'll have a link down below in the description. You can listen to it on desktop. You can listen to it on iTunes. You can listen to it through a variety of different formats, but I highly recommend it. It was a great conversation. Two great guys in the crypto space who I've gotten to know for a very long period of time. And we're the 101st episode here, so pretty exciting stuff. Anyways, guys, go check it out. Really recommend it. And now let's go ahead and dive into the sponsored interview with Bitpanda. Alrighty, everyone. So we have the privilege of sitting down during the sponsored interview with Lucas, who is the COO or Chief Operating Officer over at Bitpanda, one of the largest exchanges for the cryptocurrency space out of Europe. Lucas, I'm really happy to have you here. I think we've got a lot of interesting things to talk about. And as many people probably know, you guys have been a partner of the channel for a very long time. So I'm interested to just kind of do a deep dive conversation with you. So thank you for making the time.
All right, it's great to be here. Thank you, Nicholas, for having me.
Absolutely, Lucas. So I want to go ahead and just kind of start off. I think by now a decent amount of people might know from the description I gave, or maybe they've seen it on the channel. But overall, what is Bitpanda and what is kind of the overall goal of Bitpanda as a company to try to kind of bridge the world into the space of cryptocurrencies?
Yes, for sure. Kind of like to give you a short introduction, Bitpanda is an investment platform located in Vienna, Austria, in Europe. Was founded 2014 by the three founders, Eric Demuth, Paul Klanczek, and Christian Trummer. And we are nowadays the leading, not just cryptocurrency investment platform for retail users in Europe, but we also launched in 2019 a more professional product called Bitpanda Pro. It's an exchange where we focus on B2B customers who are aiming for regulated services in the cryptocurrency area in Europe, as well as professional traders and API traders overall. And I really have to admit, just to add that we are quite successful. We have more than 1.3 million customers all over Europe. So for European, yeah, it's quite nice.
That's incredible, man. I mean, from the size of your guys' team and everything, I think you've been able to achieve a lot. Just getting to follow Bitpanda over the last few years since I first heard about you guys in early 2018, it's been phenomenal to see the growth. And I think Europe is like a ripe market with all that's going on with negative interest rates and the central bank monetary policy. And I think we're going to be in the same boat here in the US, but it's really shaping up this awesome market for exchanges like Bitpanda. So I'm very proud of you guys and your growth. So you'd hit on one point there that I think some people might not know the difference of, even if they've heard about the Bitpanda name and maybe haven't tested out the exchange. There's the core Bitpanda platform, which alone offers a lot of great features. You can get access to a lot of major cryptocurrencies. You can also, as well, from my knowledge, buy into different commodity pairs. But I'm really curious to hear a little bit more about Bitpanda Pro and talk about what are some of the benefits of it that might provide maybe more cutting edge experience for kind of more professional traders in that case.
Yes, for sure. Kind of like just to really separate the two products and you lined it out. The investment platform for retail users, that's the Bitpanda platform. We started that a couple of years ago, and this really brought us first the success in the first place. But Bitpanda Pro, and this is why we launched in 2019, we have seen that especially in the European regulated space, that in the financial service industry, the banks and institutions, but also other cryptocurrency companies like brokerage companies, OTC trading companies, and crypto ATM providers, for example, all over Europe, they have one main issue. They need a regulated and compliant exchange in the European market to really buy their crypto from or also sell it there and trade it. And this was the main reason why we invented Bitpanda Pro, a fully fledged spot exchange, where you have the main European fiat currencies, so currently Euro, Swiss francs, also GBP coming quite soon, to the main cryptocurrency markets. Why? Because we believe that exactly these B2B businesses focusing on cryptocurrencies more and more in these times, and also on the other side, other professional traders all over Europe need a really good and compliant regulated place where to onboard and trade.
Awesome. In that case, so just my understanding, Lucas, is you guys are kind of serving as the back-end infrastructure for a lot of major OTC desks, a lot of major funds who might be looking to get exposure to crypto, and you're providing a platform that really reaches deep liquidity within European markets against major fiat pairs such as euros or maybe local currencies. Maybe, for example, I know that correct me if I'm wrong, Lucas, I think there's some like native currencies, maybe like the Swiss franc or like the Polish currency that are supported through Bitpanda as well.
Yes, Swiss francs, GBP is coming quite soon, and also other European currencies are step by step added. Because as said, we believe that the real benefit is that you as a local crypto broker, crypto company, or also professional trader can easily deposit your European currency, which are a few, I would say, despite the euro also, and trade that against the major fiat pairs, and this with really, really deep liquidity on just one place. So awesome. Yeah, we are building the backbone infrastructure for crypto in Europe, I would say.
Good stuff, man. And, to talk about, being the backbone in that case for this overall ecosystem in Europe, what are some of the core features that you guys have? Because I know it's not just a matter of providing a great trading experience. The user experience is pristine. I did a platform review a while back on the channel that I think a lot of people really enjoyed. So in this case, to understand the platform a bit deeper, what are some of the kind of selling points of Bitpanda over maybe other trading platforms on the market?
Yes, for sure. So from a functionality perspective, we have to differentiate between front-end and API trading, I would say. Front-end is a really easy-to-use interface, which can be used by either other OTC trading desks or also professional companies who buy crypto for their users, just with a really nice interface where you can easily deposit fiat money, withdraw that, also deposit and withdraw crypto, but also like credit cards with larger limits are definitely possible. On the other side is API trading, kind of like most of the use cases on our exchange. Why? Because banks, for example, or hedge funds, but especially also algo traders, they directly connect through APIs. And there we have really, really low latency trading with very, very real-time matching engine running on our infrastructure. And this, I would say, is the most important topic, combined with our regulatory and compliant framework here in Europe, that we are fully regulated by the local financial market authority as well as the European authorities. This is the combination which gives you not just security, but also regulatory compliance in Europe if you as a company or as a professional trader want to trade crypto. Because that's nowadays is not always that easy, I would say.
Yeah, no, it's true. To get all those licenses is a pretty like tough procedure, and I think it proves again to the credibility of you guys as a platform. You guys have been around for a very long time, and this kind of short-term industry of cryptocurrencies, I think you've been one of the more reputable names in Europe, which is why we love working with you guys. And one thing as well that you were mentioning there was basically the ability to have an API tied to your account. And just to kind of explain this for those who might be, like myself, who usually do kind of front end trading. So I would usually be interacting with buying and selling orders by myself. For those who are into doing algorithmic trading strategies, working with other applications or tools that allow you to do kind of if this, then that scenarios where you go out and buy maybe a certain position or sell your position, you'd be able to do so with Bitpanda through a variety of applications, just plugging in your exchange API key, which is really cool. It lets you automate the whole process in that case if you've got a strategy you want to follow. One thing I wanted to ask you about, Lucas, because I know that it's pretty common in a lot of cryptocurrency platforms to have a native token. I know that in this case, you guys have a best token in this case for the ecosystem. So I'm curious, what does the token entail? What does it really offer to users? And why in this case is there a token? Does it add a lot of benefit to the end user if they were to use it in the platform, maybe to pay fees, etc.?
Yes, for sure. So thanks you very much for asking that. I think the main topic here is the following. We were very long time saying, okay, we do not want to issue any token because either it was first the ICO times and also afterwards, it just simply did not make any time sense for us. Nevertheless, in 2019, as part of our Bitpanda Pro launch from an exchange perspective, we said, okay, we want to launch a customer loyalty program because this is what also other companies, on the one side on the retail area, but also in the business perspective, where it really makes sense to give users something back. And this in the crypto space, why not really do that also through our own token? And this is our Bitpanda ecosystem token, short BEST. And the main use case is that you get really, really reduced fees on the one side. So this is exactly where you save money, quite simple spoken. And the other topic that we have a bunch of rewards where you as a user can participate in. So for example, besides just saving money, there is a certain reward program where you get more and more tokens if you hold them from a longer time period. So there also an incentive structure for you as a customer. But overall, it's a customer loyalty program.
Nice. Yeah, I think that's what we've seen with like a lot of these platforms is like trying to offer the best opportunity with your token as a loyalty rewards program to support the company early on in that case and being able to reap the benefits on the platform through lower fees and more functionality on the platform. So I'm happy to see Bitpanda doing that. I think it's actually a great model. It's been time tested. And one other thing I wanted to talk to you about is you kind of brought up there about fees and, kind of we can maybe even dive into BEST and how that would actually reduce the fees even lower. But Lucas, if you have the numbers off the top of your head, what is it like to pay fees on Bitpanda as a platform versus maybe against other competitors in the European market? Are Bitpanda pretty competitive? Is Bitpanda as a platform relatively competitive to other European exchanges?
Yes, definitely. So let's shortly elaborate on that. From a fee perspective, we are quite competitive. So we are lower. So you pay less fees than, for example, on other main exchanges like Kraken, where you also have your BTC markets, for example. So it's definitely cheaper. Nevertheless, the fees are not the differentiator for us. For us, it's really about the regulatory compliant framework and focusing on some main markets which are pegged to the main fiat currency pairs. So this is from our perspective the main USP. So fees, yes, we try to keep them as low as possible, even lower with the usage of our own token. But this is, as we've seen also from our existing customer base, not the main reason to come to us. As said, it's much more from, hey, you look for a good exchange, which is, especially in the European space, offer the currencies you want to have and the framework from a regulatory perspective. There, in the end, this is exactly what we can offer. But on the other side, it's quite interesting, I would say, for our retail users, and you said and talked before a little bit about API trading, is that even if you're not as keen as an API trader, we offer some cooperation and partnerships with the leading API trading platforms. And there we have a couple of directly on our platform, and also them integrated, and you get also benefits as a user, again, if you own the token, that you can get them much cheaper, for example.
Lucas, I think you hit on one good point. Not only obviously the API partnerships in that case where there's a lot of great tools you can utilize from within Bitpanda, but along with that as well, this point about, constantly focusing on fees. And the problem with that is that, obviously we do want to get the lowest fee possible, I think in this case, but at the same time, you don't want to sacrifice performance and consistency as well as legal compliance. If you can get those three things in a relatively low fee, it's usually better to go for that than the absolute lowest fee on the market because there might not be security, there may not be proper trading systems on the back end of those companies. I've always kind of drilled that to people, and I think I've actually seen that a lot with my own startup. There's been a lot of people who'd rather have the consistency rather than paying, maybe the cheapest fee possible. So I like
Yeah.
that point you brought up. I think it's a very good strategic focus in that case, and there's a reason why there's a little bit out of cost sometimes because of those extra additional features. Now, speaking of that, Luce, I think you guys have made a lot of progress. I mean, to see Bitpanda be growing as much as it has over these last 3 years since 2018, since I first saw it, I think I just want to say hats off to you guys. I think the team has been expanding well. The product's been growing. The volume's been growing. I wanted to ask you personally, like as the CEO in this case, do you have any like major goals as a company that you aim to achieve as we're almost stepping in here in the next couple of months into a new year into 2021? So is there any big goals that you guys have at Bitpanda?
Yeah, definitely. From an outlook perspective, I think our first goal, and this is quite overarching, is we want to enable everyone, especially in Europe, to be able to access cryptocurrencies. This is on the retail side through lowering the barriers for investing so that you can really easily deposit your euro and start investing into crypto and also participate in that. So this is on the retail space, but, and this is also what we elaborated before, and a little bit more on, we want to enable the European financial service industry as well as other companies who operate in the cryptocurrency space to be to not rely on any other outside exchanges from a security perspective, but have one place in Europe domiciled where you can easily and fully regulated also get your crypto. And this is the most important topic for us, to be exactly that player with also a longer history and quite secure and compliant background from our perspective. So if we think concretely about 21, I think our main aim is to even grow more, to expand to even more countries, and for Bitpanda Pro to add even more fiat currencies from all over Europe to our exchange.
That's amazing, man. I just want to say again, I think it's going to be really exciting to see where you all go into the next year. And speaking, as you kind of hinted there about new kind of fiat currency pairs, one thing I'm really interested about in regards to the topic of trading pairs, Lucas, is the ability, as I know you all support commodities such as gold and silver, and I think palladium as well. I'm really curious to see, is there ever going to be like an opportunity where on Bitpanda Pro, I can trade from Bitcoin to gold? I know there's a lot of people who are kind of people like myself who love to hedge, who love to play against, traditional fiat currencies. Is that going to be a reality on the Bitpanda platform?
Yes, along the road, definitely. So we are always coming from, we are a crypto company and we are coming from the crypto space. Nevertheless, we are aiming for also bringing other asset classes with the same easiness and simplicity as crypto is offering, also to everyone, I would say, in the end. So along the road, we're definitely aiming for also bringing other asset classes on Bitpanda Pro for our users. Nevertheless, as the next step, as said, it's other fiat currencies from other European markets to bring our main value proposition also to them. Yeah, and to enable them to easily buy crypto.
Yeah, and kind of building on that, I think we're going into some really interesting times, Lucas. As we talked about earlier, everything happening right now is really shaping us up for an interesting position for crypto assets to continue growing over the next few years. So I know there's a lot of people who, might watch my channel. Some people have been around for years involved in crypto, but some are also new. Some might just be simply looking for a new platform. So for those of you who might be interested in learning more about Bitpanda, we'll obviously have a link down below in the description so you guys can check out the platform, try registering an account. There's no cost to it. You just go through the standard KYC process and go through all the necessary steps that Bitpanda is required to follow due to regulations. And after that, you can start kind of testing around making your first deposit. But I wanted to ask you, Lucas, as we're talking about this, outside of obviously checking out the link down below and registering, where can people go to like maybe kind of figure out more about Bitpanda? Maybe if they have some questions about the platform, are there any good resources that people could turn to?
Yes, for sure. It's a quite Yeah, easy way to find out more about Bitpanda. On the one side, we have Telegram groups, so you can easily join there the discussion. Our whole community is quite active there, and our support is always eager to answer your questions. On the other side, just go to bitpanda.com. There you find the whole academy and all informations about Bitpanda in general, and bitpanda.com/pro. That's exactly the place where you have to drop off if you want to get more about our B2B and professional product for all traders all over Europe.
Awesome. Well, Lucas, in that case, like I mentioned before, we'll leave that down below in the description so you guys can figure out more about Bitpanda Pro. You can also just check out the core Bitpanda platform, see which one works for you, see which one offers the best options and opportunities. And if I'm correct on this, I just wanted to make sure this is true, Lucas. If you register a Bitpanda Pro account, you're technically also registering a core Bitpanda account, similar to Coinbase and Coinbase Pro. Is that correct?
Exactly. So you have just one account to access two platforms. Why? Because in the end, it's you can choose. So, for example, you start as a early trader in your first steps, so to say, to crypto. Start with the retail platform, where it's really easy. Then you evolve to a more complex professional trader. You want to have different order types. Then go to Pro and play around and trade.
Awesome, Lucas. Well, I think, having one registration, two logins simplifies the entire process, and it really opens up people to the whole basket of different services that you guys provide. So I'm really interested to get some feedback from people testing out the platform. Again, if you guys want to provide any feedback, I have no doubt Lucas and the team are listening, so feel free to give it to them and, tell them your thoughts on the platform. But Lucas, I mean, this has been great, man. Like I mentioned, I think we're going through really interesting times right now in the crypto space. Bitpanda has obviously built the reputation of being a solid crypto platform, and even just being able to provide that core exposure to digital assets, as well as digitized representations of physical commodities like gold and silver. I think it's going to position you guys very well over the next few years. So I'm happy to have you guys on as a core partner of the channel, and it's just really great to get to catch up and get to chat with you, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Nicholas. Great to have been here today. And looking forward to our next chat.
Absolutely, Lucas. It was my pleasure, man.